I was here the whole time. Martin, are you here with us?
I am indeed, Derek. How are you and how is everybody?
Hello, doing great. Jason, Frankie, thanks so much again. We will talk to you guys soon. And everyone, you can take a look at the notes that I took from our conversation with Jason and Frankie in the show notes. Martin, we can think about all the content these influencers just created, I bet can go great into Facebook, Instagram stories, and Snapchat ads. I'm not even sure exactly what you've got prepared for us, but I bet that there's going to be some overlap here.
Sure, I think there's definitely going to be some overlap, but I definitely think some of the thrill and finesse and magician smoke of the title of this presentation may well have been undone a little bit, but the presentation's absolutely solid. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, perfect. And I will put myself on mute and be here in the sidelines, guys. Again, quickly, Martin Cook is one of the hosts of the Cartels Mastermind. And let's talk more about that at the end, perhaps.
I would like to. I'd like to, because the next event is so close. Super excited about that. Oh,
I'm so sad I'm not making it. Like, I was kind of begging my wife, and she was like, look, you already got one event that month, like a big 10-day event. You don't get two.
Oh, I don't know, man. It's... I wouldn't want to be a part of that conversation. I know there's only really one boss in my life as well, and it's it's my wife. So
yeah, they make the rules. We live by it.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, looks good. It's not full screen yet, though.
It is not full screen yet. That's absolutely fine. How's the audience doing, guys? Are you around? Can you let me know in the chat box? Like, hey, give me a 1 or give me a yes or give me a smiley face or a middle finger if you can find the emoji. Hey Renee. Hey Paolo. Hey Tasha. Fantastic. I like it when there's real people. I didn't know if you've got loads of bots, you see, Derek. So I just want to.
The bots are just for you.
Fantastic. So, as I said, a little bit of the sort of magician side of this presentation is taken away because the powerful traffic source that they're not telling you about, we already know what we're going to talk about, but that is not a problem. We're just trying to figure out how to turn off my video, and we're good. John says he is not a bot. Thank you, John. And hello to everybody. Derek, thanks so much for having me on. I'm coming from the UK. It is something like 9:10 at night here. Hello, my UK homies that are on the call. And hello, I see lots of familiar faces as well in the chat box. So, hey, guys. So we're going to be covering a lot today. It is going to be a real intense presentation. Normally, that's what I do. Normally, my presentations are an hour, and so I've tried squeezing this into 30 minutes. So I'd encourage you to take lots of notes. I encourage you to screenshot the screen. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of stuff throughout. I've got tons and tons of freebies for you, which I love doing. So grab a notebook and pen, put everything on Do Not Disturb. Anything that has a Do Not Disturb or an off button, hit that. And let's jump in. We cool? We good, Derek? We good?
Great. I love that. Turn off Slack, close the YouTube video running in the background. Take a second to step away and let's focus in. I agree.
For goodness sake, turn off those cat videos as well. They're not helping anything. So during this presentation, I'm going to reveal the next ads traffic platform. Is the title of the presentation. But I'm going to get into that. I'm going to go into why I genuinely would actually put money on this being the next ads traffic source and the reasoning behind that. I'm going to show you actual winning adverts that are making big dollars on this platform. I'm going to show you how you can get a head start over everyone else should you decide to jump into this ad platform. And I'm going to tell you about the only solution on the planet that will help you win with this new traffic source, okay? And I'm also going to show you how to avoid the number one mistake that I see with so many businesses that eventually kills them, okay? And I'm not a dramatic kind of guy. I mean that. I've seen businesses fail because of this mistake. So I'm going to get into that. Some of that is a little bit of a tease. This is not. Often on webinars, the person presenting will try and bribe you to stay to the end, which is a really ethical tactic to help you pay attention. I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm going to give you this exact same link at the end, all right? So I've got a great presentation for you, but if for some reason you can't make it to the end, here is the link that you'll need, right? I'm going to give you through that link, which you don't even need to give me an email address. It's just like a little chat bot. I'm going to give you a free physical book, which is $20 on Amazon. It's going to ship to your door. I'm going to give you 6 weeks of training for the new traffic source that we're going to talk about for free. I'm going to give you 20 plus hours of digital marketing content and a bunch more stuff as well. So that is the link there. That redirects into a chat bot. So that's up front. I'm going to remind you of that link at the end. But let's jump into it. And let's start talking about the evolution of all ad platforms, okay? Every single ad platform, whether it's Google, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's, I don't know, a really old one, kind of go through this evolution, right? And so the ad network, naturally, just like anything else, it gets established on day one, right? It's established, it's out there. They want as many people to come in and try out the ad network, as many advertisers as possible. Come on in, everyone's welcome, right? Stage one. Stage two, the early adopters, they sign up, right? We've got people in there, they're figuring out how to use the platform, they're navigating the bugs, they're requesting new features, but they're rewarded with super cheap conversions, okay? So they're nice and early on the ad platform, there's not a lot of competition, they're getting really cheap clicks, and those cheap clicks are resulting in cheap conversions. Stage three, word spreads, more people sign up, the ad network realizes that some of those people might be sort of abusing the rules, and so they start beefing up the rules, start restricting certain things, all for the greater good, okay? And that's stage three. Stage four in this ad network, even more people are joining. The competition's now getting fiercer because everybody's competing against each other. Costs are beginning to rise. Rules are tightening. The early adopters are already looking for the next traffic source because they're seeing the end in sight. Stage five, there's tons of demand, tons of competition. The ad network's really growing fast, doesn't really care about the new users as much as they used to. They're removing features due to security patches. The profitability of the users is suffering, and more users are now looking for the next traffic source. And those that find that next traffic source are rewarded with great profits. And then finally in stage six, word spreads, and there's a mass exodus to that next traffic source, to the next platform, and then the advertising network here needs to reinvent itself. Okay, we saw this with Google, and I think anybody that advertises on Facebook may well see some of these things in some of these stages, and they may sound familiar. Just give me a 1 in the chat box if perhaps stage 5, which is where I very much believe we are with Facebook, seems a little bit familiar. You know, features being removed due to security patches, profitability struggle, of the ads is suffering, so on and so on and so on, right? Yeah, absolutely. I believe we're in stage 5.
So true, man. They removed job titles that killed me.
Yeah, they've removed so many things. So many things are just silently going. It's making it a lot harder to target, makes it more expensive, and with less things that you can target on, that creates even more competition, right? So if we're talking about Facebook, I believe we're in stage 5. Google in their early days has already gone through these 6 stages, and they had to reinvent themselves. They've got a great platform again now, but there was a time when there was a mass exodus, and that's how Facebook started. Right, as people getting fed up with Google, okay? And so why is this important? Well, ad costs will keep increasing, right? As more people join the ad network, e.g. Facebook, the ad costs are going to go up because advertisers are charged on an auction basis. So it means you're literally competing against other people. So if there's more people, it's more expensive, right? And if you keep increasing the price for your products, which is the only way really to fight, those, you're being charged more to advertise, you kind of need to charge your customers more. There's a limit to how much you can charge them before they go, do you know what, I'm not going to buy your widget anymore. And so if your business doesn't continue to evolve, it will die. Again, I'm not being dramatic. Anybody seen or recognize any of these brands? Right? There's some pretty famous, successful companies here, which it kind of don't really exist anymore. But at one time, everyone thought they were unstoppable, and they died because of a lack of evolution. Okay, they did not evolve. Blockbuster got destroyed by Netflix. MySpace got destroyed by Facebook. Toys R Us got destroyed by, I guess, a lot of things, including Amazon, and so on and so on and so on. The Concorde kind of crashed itself, and something else went on there. But these were all very, very successful brands and businesses that don't that stop. So don't be disillusioned and assume that Facebook will just keep going. Don't be disillusioned and assume that your business will keep going if you don't evolve. Okay, so I've already hit you with some hard truths. Who the heck am I to be saying this kind of stuff? All right, so that's me, really blurry stage video there. So I've built and scaled and exited multiple 6- and 7-figure e-commerce stores. I've coached thousands of students on advertising, e-com, and entrepreneurship across 38 countries. So spoken from stages across multiple continents. I've personally spent more than $5 million on Facebook advertising alone and managed over $100 million in advertising spend with my company, trustads.io. Okay, so there, when you have sight of $100 million worth of ad spend, you can begin to sort of draw patterns and conclusions from that. It's enough data, folks. I'm also the host of the Smarter Destiny podcast, which you can find by typing that into Google or any of your favorite podcast things. We interview amazingly successful people on that podcast. People like, for example, Roland Fraser. He's part owner of a $4 billion business. Alex Brown, Dollar Beer Club. I mean, the names go on. Definitely check it out. And if you have any questions at any point in this presentation or after it, my email address is below. Okay, so next up, right now we are talking about Snapchat. The big reveals kind of, disintegrated a little bit at the beginning. But what I would normally do here is I'd normally play this video. You see, this is actually a video and it's Gary Vee talking about Snapchat, right? And he's very hyped about it and recommending you jump into Snapchat. Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to play this particular, the sound from this video in this presentation because of the way we've got it set up. I did send the video earlier on to Derek. I will try and get the video to you. But he is very passionately recommending you jump onto Snapchat. And it might be because of this, all right? I have uncovered literally hundreds and hundreds of case studies of brands who are silently crushing Snapchat right now, whilst everybody else seems to be struggling on Facebook, okay? And these are their actual ads, right? I promised you that I'd show you their ads. This is Hi Smile. This is their Snapchat ads. They've achieved a 20% lower cost per acquisition, 15% increase in total average daily revenue. This is Pura Vida. This is really just an image. I'm playing this video here, but it's really just an image until the user clicks on Shop Now and it loads up their Shopify store. They saw a 55% lower click cost compared to other platforms and 22% lower cost per acquisition using Snapchat. And this is Manscaped. I do love this advert. It's a guy chucking a bunch of talc down his trousers, that's their video. And they saw a 21% increase in average order value. 17% of their total revenue for their company comes from Snapchat ads, and a 13% increase in new customer acquisitions. Right? And there's loads and loads of stories like this. Okay, there's absolutely tons. I just wanted to show you some of the ads, show you how simple they are. But there are tons and tons of brands killing it on Snapchat right now, whilst everyone else is struggling with Facebook and other traffic sources, right? Which, that's really cool. But it sort of asks you, like, holy crap, right? Like, here we are working so hard to make Facebook and other super competitive platforms, like ad platforms, work. And all of these brands they don't want you to know about, they don't want you to know about Snapchat. They would like to keep it for themselves. And the truth is, Snapchat is an ads platform that has been built to be super intuitive, particularly for Facebook users. And there is a reason to that. Snapchat has gone and hired a lot of ex-Facebook advertising engineers, the guys that helped build the Facebook platform. And it kind of looks like this, right? You tell me if this just looks like the simplest thing ever to use. Like, once you sign up for a Snapchat ad account, you can jump on. Here's the create ad screen. You've got like a simple version or advanced version. You jump in. You say, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want website visits, app installs, app visits? Then you jump in, you can upload a photo or video. They've got tons of really cool templates that are ready to go. I just uploaded a quick photo, put in this stuff, and the ad's sort of already, ready to go here. And then you pick your demographics, and there's some, really robust targeting options. I haven't clicked on the advanced targeting button here. There's some really great interests and targets that you can do. And of course, you can upload lookalike audience. You can create lookalike audiences. You can upload your own data, your own custom audiences. Like, a lot of the terminology is the same as Facebook. There's campaigns, ad sets, ads. just like Facebook. It's great. In fact, I believe it's the next killer traffic source because right now it's untapped, it's unsaturated, it's cheap, it's targeted, it's worldwide, it's unique in the future. And because we've only got 30 minutes today, I'm going to just show you this link here, screenshot the page, note down that link because I go into detail about why I believe Snapchat is absolutely awesome. I don't work for Snapchat, by the way. I have no incentive for that, but I genuinely believe this is going to be the next ad platform. Okay. And when I delved a little bit deeper, I started pulling out stats like this. Okay. What this graph basically shows is the percentage of users that are not on, like they're Snapchat users who are not on other platforms. So 35% of Snapchat users don't use Facebook, right? So if you're running Facebook ads, you would never reach these people, okay? Because they're not on Facebook. 41% aren't on Instagram, 50% aren't on Facebook Messenger, 64% aren't on YouTube, and 78% aren't on Twitter. Okay, so it's genuinely a unique audience on Snapchat of people that aren't available on other platforms. And then, of course, you know, you're like, yeah, but they're all children, right? They're all kids. They haven't got any money. You know, shut up, Martin. Well, that's when I did a little bit more digging and found out that 77% of Snapchat users are over the age of 18. It's a similar demographic split between female, male, 55, 45%, and actually 32% are parents. Okay, so it's not just like people who are just about 18. There's actually quite a mature audience on Snapchat, and of course, every day these users are getting a little bit older. Right? There was a time when Facebook was apparently just for kids, and the older generation said, "You'll never catch me on Facebook," and now check them out. They're on Facebook, right? Being embarrassing. Okay, and at one time they said, you know, there's no chance you'll catch me on Facebook, and Snapchat, you know, is transitioning rapidly like that. And in fact, the users on Snapchat are extremely active. In fact, on average, they visit Snapchat 25 times each day. And of course, every single person on Snapchat, you know, is served impressions. So if a person is on there 25 times a day, that's 25 times more impressions, ad space that can be served. The more ad space, the cheaper the ad costs. Okay, the more ads that a network can run, the cheaper they can charge for those ads. So we were really, really excited. When we did all this research, we were really, really excited. But we did find that there was two things missing, right? There's two things missing that might make the journey from Facebook to Snapchat just a little bit rocky, okay? And the first one really kind of does suck. There was a $50 minimum budget, right? So that's you had to commit to spend $50 per ad per day, okay? So if you wanted to run 10 ads, set up maybe 10 ads testing, you're committing to $500 a day budget. That kind of sucks. Don't worry, guys, you won't have to pay this. I'm going to show you how to avoid it. But you know, when we first came across this, we were like, oh, that kind of sucks. That stings. I don't care how rich you are. You know, if you're running enough ads at $50 each per day, that's kind of expensive. And then this was even bigger for me. There was no automation, and you know, manual labor is not my thing. Okay, and I'm sure it's not yours either. I'm kind of the opinion that if you don't absolutely have to do it yourself, you should outsource it, either ideally with software, or if software doesn't do it, to people. Okay, to your team. And so it was missing those two things. And so this is a short presentation. So I could tell you about the journey, about finding the solution and so on, but we're going to skip that stuff and jump straight to the solution. Okay. So basically what we figured out was there's a combination of tools and training and so on that we've combined together so that you can jump into Snapchat and get round those two things. Okay. And so the first one was a simple one for us. So Trust Ads, we already provide automation for Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger advertisers, okay? And so what we did was we reached out to Snapchat and we said, hey, we want to be your very first software that allows automation of Snapchat ads. Okay, and they were really, really excited. We got on tons of calls, and we actually became certified partners. And we now offer the only software on the planet that allows you to automate your Snapchat ads. Okay, and so brilliant. That kind of ticks this manual labor thing. We no longer have to do that. Brilliant. Now, the other thing, which we weren't necessarily talking particularly freely with Snapchat about at the time, is that because we can now set up automated rules, we can now create a rule that says something like, if you spend $10 on an ad and that ad is not profitable, pause it. And so now finally, this $50 a day minimum budget just doesn't even matter, because if your ads aren't performing how you want them to, you can shut them off long before they spend $50. And so we were pretty happy then. And so we also created a 6-week training program so that anybody that wants to get up and running as fast as possible with Snapchat, we created that. But yeah, so we partnered with Snapchat, we provided the automation, we provided the training. I'm going to give you access to that training. Well, through that link. If you've already gone through that link, you're going to get that delivered to you for free. Anyway, so after tons of testing on Snapchat and looking at, talking to the users, our users that use Snapchat for their advertising and so on, what we did is we went one step further. We decided, right, not only do we need automation through dynamic rules that will run when our ads are running, we wanted to narrow it down to just 5 rules, right? The 5 best rules that will ensure that when you're testing and when you're getting started on Snapchat, you don't lose, you don't lose your entire wallet, right? You don't end up making a mistake that costs you tons of money, and you don't miss an opportunity to scale. And so I'm going to whiz through those 5 rules. I recommend you also screenshot this, but I've also given a link at the bottom, which if you note down that link, that'll take you to a page where I go into these rules in more detail. So first one, right, on Snapchat, they have a word called swipe. Swipe means click, okay? So if someone clicks on your advert on Facebook, they swipe on your advert on Snapchat to turn, to end up on your website. So the first rule we're going to create is no swipes within a certain amount of spend. So say you really need visitors to your website for under $1.50, which is what I've set up here. You can say, look, if there's no swipes and I've spent at least $1.50, pause the ad, okay? It's not for me, pause the ad. So that's rule number 1. It keeps you safe, okay, from expensive clicks. Rule 2, a little bit further along the line, no purchases by a certain amount of spend. Okay, so you're on Snapchat, you've got a bunch of traffic coming to your website, you've spent maybe $20, $30, or whatever your your limit is, and if you haven't got any purchases, in this case by $8, pause the ad. Okay, again, we're protected. We've got the cheap clicks, but if we haven't got the purchases, this rule protects us. Then we've got if the return on ad spend drops below a certain amount. Okay, so of course we all want to be profitable. We want to be profitable over a certain level. And so this rule protects us. So we're already getting sales at this point, but if for some reason those sales aren't profitable or become unprofitable, this rule has got your back, okay? It will make sure that in this case, if your return on ad spend, if you're getting now less than $2.50 for every dollar spend, it'll get paused, okay? So all of these are designed to protect you whilst you're dipping your toes in Snapchat and whilst you're scaling, okay? And we've got these rules, by the way, for Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger available in Trust Ads. But of course, in this presentation, I'm talking about Snapchat. All right, and then rule 4, scaling fast. We love scaling fast. There's no better feeling than an advert which is printing money, right? You're spending $1 and you're getting like $5 back, all right? Your brain says, well, how can I spend $1 million to get $5 million back? Okay, if only it was that simple, right? But this is a scaling fast rule, in this case by duplication. So in this case, if we're getting, if we've had at least 2 purchases and we've got a return on ad spend of 3 or better, we're going to start duplicating. And this rule has a little bit that's just off screen here, which allows the duplication. And then finally, and this is so important, I don't mind what ad platform you're on, sometimes there's this thing called late attribution, and it happens, okay? So someone's clicked on your advert, they've gone onto your website, they're about to buy something, and then they get distracted. They get a phone call, they have to go out, they have a power cut, they take lunch, whatever, right? And then maybe a day later, they've left the tab open, maybe a day later, 3 days later, a week later, they then decide to check out. They eventually check out. They haven't been retargeted, they've just kept that tab open. Well, that's late attribution for you. And sometimes late attribution occurs by the ad network literally reporting late, okay? They've got through bugs or whatever, and sometimes it's because of users. But there's, sometimes you'll pause an ad because you think it's unprofitable, and then that sale will come in from a click that happened ages ago, and that sale would then make that ad profitable again. In those cases, I recommend using what's known as a late attribution ad. which in this case looks back at any deactivated ads and will turn them back on again if they become profitable. Okay, so those are the 5 rules. I know I've screened through them, but this link at the bottom really goes into each rule in detail for you. I think at this point, I think my 30 minutes is up. But fortunately, as I said at the beginning, I prepared for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the rest of the content and freebies by Messenger. Okay, so there's no email required. Simply visit the link below here, which is the same link that I showed you at the beginning. And what I'll do is I'll send you the URL to grab a free physical copy of my 300-page e-commerce success book that comes very, very highly recommended. The slides from this entire presentation, so you can go through them much slower. More detail on getting started with Snapchat. I'm going to show you how to grab our 6-week Snapchat masterclass for free and over 20 hours of digital marketing training, and I might even send some funny gifts and smiles at the same time. Of course, if you want to check out Trust Ads, it's at trustads.io. There's a free trial. Jump in, see what you think, and feel free at any point to email me at martin@smarterdestiny.com.
You packed it in there, Martin.
I was talking really fast.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and I know it's late, so props on keeping the energy high at the end of the day. Thank you so much for the presentation. I think you've made it easy, simple, quick, safe for us to start scaling on Snapchat. And I think, given the previous kind of talks that we've had, we've got our site squared away. We've got our influencers creating content for us. Now we are talking about the channel that we're going to take that content and put it on. It's really a fitting way to continue the personalized and branded experience all the way into the channel.
Absolutely. And if anybody has any questions, and if we have a couple of minutes for those questions, I'm here right now and ready to answer them if we so wish. If you want to move on, then we can move on as well.
I wish, but we are low on time. I have to make a quick announcement here before we go into our closing keynote. So I will, I will thank you for your time. If you have questions for Martin, ask them in chat. You can follow up in chat or afterwards, and we'll put all those questions and answers in our show notes so that everyone can keep in touch. And yeah, thanks so much, Martin. I shared all the links here so that everyone can follow you on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, which I do definitely recommend, as well as go check out the 5 rules of Snapchat ads, the 5 rules of Facebook and Instagram ads as well, and the platform and the book. And that's what we need to talk about before you go. Why should I attend Cartel's Mastermind?
Well, if you are doing late 6 figures, 7, 8, or 9 figures, and you want to rapidly scale up by surrounding yourself with high-level thinkers, highly successful business owners, who have the networks that you need, the contacts for vendors, for software, for services.
Celebrities.
Celebrities, exactly. The solutions to the challenges that are stopping you scale. And if you want to get all that and learn all that, just in absolute luxury where you work hard, you play hard, the whole thing is a tax write-off that goes against you, goes against your business expenses, right? Then our events may well be for you. And then we're doing our 5th event. It's the end of September. We're heading to the beautiful island of Koh Samui, off of the coast of Thailand. And we have some incredible speakers lined up for that event, who are there the whole week. They are immersed in all of the sessions. They're sharing, they're eating 3 meals a day with you, drinking alongside of you, and so on. And so
Drinking.
Yeah, and drinking. So Derek can share the link. We vet every single person that wants to attend, applies to attend these masterminds. We jump on a call to ensure that it's right for you and it's right for us, because we have a culture of no douchebags. And so far, we've done a great job of keeping them out. And so as long as you're not a douchebag and you want to scale your business and you're already at that sort of level, then let's talk. And if it makes sense, then it'll be a trip of a lifetime for you.
Perfect. Awesome, Martin. Thank you so much. And I will see you again soon.